Has a little too close there. Mana's not good. Probably is so low on mana. What are they even doing trying to get an engage on this fight? Probably gets out with a flash. He's quite safe in the situation now. The shockwave is huge, but can he answer with more? Robert misses Shifter. He's right over the wall. There's the shot, but he waited too long. Robert wasn't firing that whole entire time in the fight, but the rest of the team has locked it up.
Did not suffer a single casualty.
I can't believe
the teleport from Weststrike to try and get this down. 60-second death timers. They may have just taken down Dignitas for a second time.
How many times this week has a team won down by 10,000 gold? I don't even have the fingers on my hand anymore to count. It's going to be another game won by Complexity, being the underdogs coming out. They just had to wait. Their patience, the mechanics, the ability to play on the live stage as Zion Spartan says, follow me. Complexity's had it. None of it. Yes, Complexity takes down Dignitas again. Crazy ending the last time these teams met. So welcome back to the North American LCS, because we're about to watch it again. Our next match is Team Dignitas versus Complexity. Kobe, so far this matchup has been favored by Complexity, believe it or not.
And in one of those wins, they were in complete control the entire game. But in their last matchup, Complexity had to overcome a huge 11,000 gold lead, gold deficit to come back and win the game. One thing that I do want to point out for Complexity is that Westrise specifically, he's shown a lot of growth since the start of the split. He's evolved from a player that would repeatedly give up deaths in lane to someone that now plays with a healthy level of caution. Despite their loss yesterday to LMQ, he also looked pretty comfortable on that Nidalee, so maybe we'll see some bans targeted.
And this would be an important win for Complexity, who they are looking to snap a 4-game losing streak right now and close in on 6th place. Very important spot. Dignitas are in a slump of their own, however, losing 6 of their last 7 matches. Seems like history repeats itself, and they are 4 games behind the first place spot that had been theirs for most of the split.
And their strategy lately has been Crumbs camping the top lane for Zion Spartan. And then once Zion has gotten ahead, he teleports down to the bottom lane to try and get them ahead or trying to bail them out if they've been pushed in pretty early. It was very effective early on, but then they actually faltered with it last time. So we'll have to see. It's been very important for QtPie and KiwiKid to have a good performance. And it will be true today as well, because one of Complexity's biggest strengths is Complexity's bottom lane, Robert and Bubba.
So true. Dignitas know that Complexity like to play a waiting game and to win, and they'll have to force them out of their comfort zone.
Against Complexity, that team just like, they showed teams' indecisiveness because they just want to go to late game. They pick late game champions, they give up every objective, they don't do anything, they sit in their base. But if you can't break their turtle, you just lose, because then they go to late game and you can't beat them at all. Knowing it is like half the battle, honestly, because again, it comes down to overcoming like our indecisiveness. It's not about having 5 good players, it's about having like everyone come together and form like one unstoppable force.
Voltron!
I was going to do the fist, but that works too.
That's comedic. We'll get it next time. Let's see what's happening on the blue side with Team Dignitas as we go through the rosters. That's going to be Zion Spartan in the top lane, Crumbs in the jungle, Shifter at mid lane. I'm a QtPie at AD carry, and KiwiKid on support.
And on the red side, it's Complexity up top, Westrise. In the jungle, Kez, mid Prawley, AD carry, Robert X. Lee, and support Bubba.
So heading into Champion Select, if they were to form, where do you think QtPie is? He's kind of an attacker, so would he be like a right fist?
Sure.
All right. Well, there you are.
I didn't watch a lot of Voltron. More Power Rangers here. And by the way, QtPie would probably be the green dude.
All right. Any reason?
No particular reason.
No backup. All right, I like it.
No.
I like it.
I was just wandering off into the deep end there.
We'll see if Dignitas can keep from doing that against Complexity one more time. A team that has had their number. Even since Lauda Mortis was on the team, you remember back to MLG, Complexity was the team to shut down Dignitas' winning streak during that split. So these guys have always had a little bit of what you need to beat Dignitas. Now, Dig, they've gotten the solo laners they wanted coming into the split. Hasn't been the win for them every game, but we do see a lot of that power coming from those lanes. As you were saying, the crutch kind of coming from that bottom lane. hasn't been able to produce too much. We've seen that when Kiwi Kid could play Annie, when Cutie Pie was on Draven, when they were playing killers, when they were in that kill lane. Now, it doesn't seem to work on the sit back on your heels and wait for something to happen kind of thing. Yeah, it is pretty interesting because you never want to develop a pattern to your play in League of Legends because it becomes very easy for someone else to just study it and then counter you. So Dignitas with this recent pattern kind of emerging where they do camp top and then they try and have Zion use his lead up there to save the other sides of the map is a little bit troubling for Dignitas. We'll have to see if they come out with something else because Complexity have been a team that study past games very, very intently. So they will definitely recognize that and look for something. We'll see if Kez tries to go for counter ganks up top with Crumbs or if they try to just swing their bottom lane really early. If they know Crumbs is top, then that opens up bottom side for extra aggression. See the bans come out. Kog'Maw goes down this time. He won't be in the game. Let's see what these teams have for each other. Gragas was picked up by no Trist ban yet in that last for game. Robert. One of the most common things we see against Flexi is the Tristana ban, just because he has a lot of success on it, but not so far. And if you ban out Kog'Maw, then pretty much the queen there for late game is Trist. Rengar ban is also very interesting because Lee Sin is still up. So there's a Elise and Rengar ban. However, pretty much the #1 most sought after jungler is still available. Complexity have to choose between giving up Lee Sin or giving up a very strong top laner to Zion Spartan. There's so many things right now. It looks like they are going to trade power picks here probably. Crumbs, I'm pretty sure Dig would want Crumbs on that Lee Sin, and they'd probably go for that with their first pick if it does get through, in which case Complexity would have to have a backup plan. Banned out there. Ooh. Well, the blind pick, Kassadin, comes in. People have been wondering, since the Kassadin nerf is a very interesting nerf to Kassadin, increasing the time on his activation of the W. It makes it much harder for him to CS. It reduces the amount of sustain for him mana that he has in lane. Right. So it's very interesting. We'll have to see if Kassadin still has the same amount of power, can still CS well through the early part of the game, because that's probably where it hurts him most. But man, did Froggen have a crazy game when that was let through in Europe. Maybe just a little bit. We'll see if Shifter can do a similar thing here, because Shifter, as everyone keeps talking about lately, he's been sort of hanging back. He hasn't really been putting himself in dangerous situations. Kassadin is great though for the old style that Shifter used to play when he was like an Ahri main, where he can go find people, snipe them, chase them down if they're out of position at all. Something that definitely ticked in my brain when I saw that pickup as well is he's in the fight with that pick. Scary situation in Shifter's play style. Tristana is locked in. Robert actually gets his AD carry of choice, and Kez, he's been wreaking some good havoc on this Eve recently. He's been between Elise and Eve when he can lately, mostly Elise. But with that being banned out, right back to the stealth. Yeah, we'll see what jungler number 5 is on Crumb's list. Probably Jarvan, but we'll have to see if that changes due to picks. Jarvan's probably the most next highly valued jungler overall, but they could definitely tailor a special pick here because they have locked in Nidalee once again. Gragas still available for Westrice, by the way. However, with Westrice's recent trend toward building full tank, I don't like a Gragas pickup for him, or at least I don't want him to build full tank if he does pick up that Gragas. Slow movement here coming from Complexity. They know they're dealing with a composition that can siege them out and then pick somebody off, or just pick somebody off if they want at any given time. The scariest thing for Complexity right now is a split pushing Nidalee. So that's what's facing them right now. That plus the possibility of a Kassadin getting fed off an early kill. So Complexity have to worry about what can we do if we're faced with a strong split pushing Nidalee late. They lock in some wave clear. Ziggs, one of Farley's favorite champions, if not his top choice. Yeah. So not only is he going to have the extra wave clear, but he's also going to be on a very comfortable pick, and it will help him hold his own in this lane versus the new Kassadin. A jungler for Dig.
Crumbs likes his Vi.
We'll see here, because Complexity,
Other.
it's very obvious what Complexity are going for here. They're like, okay, we need to stall, buy time for Tristana. Robert does go early static Shiv, so it'll probably be a static Shiv Trist wave clearing and a Ziggs wave clearing. And it's up to Dignitas to create some action. They'll use that Nidalee split push and then have Kassadin try and chase people down in the 4-man squad as Nidalee tries to pull this Complexity team apart. But Complexity do have plenty of wave clear.
See how Dig decides to play this one. Last time Crumbs brought out Nunu, that was EG in week 9. That was the game that they did not die at all, that shutout versus EG. So they play a very around the opposing team game as opposed to through the opposing team game. And right now, kind of have a little bit of both. They can play that split push around, but you can also get that Kassadin to pick people off and go right through the front door when you get them down. Complexity looking to answer, having to deal with both of those types of compositions.
Yeah, Nunu, I really like Nunu as in the pick for Crumbs nowadays with the style that he has been trending towards, where he really likes to go very utility-based as a jungler. And when you combo that with Jinx, they can just take down turret after turret. If he's ever left alone, Cutie Pie with the Blood Boil would make very, very quick work of any turrets. We'll see how Crumbs does in the early game, though, keeping this Evelynn down. Deep warding. There is a nice little bonus, too, for Nunu now that the Ancient Golem was changed. The bonus 25% health that you get from that applies to the Nunu buffs that he gets for himself when he consumes jungle golems. So he gets a very large health pool very early on here. And it will help Dignitas make use of the early control that they want to try and create around this mid lane Kassadin.
Taking one last quick look at that top laner selection coming in for Westrice, and that's going to be his first Aurelia that he's going to try to put onto the table. We've seen that coming from Inox Dyrus a few times, so it'll be interesting in the top lane. Let's do some quick number crunching over at LOLesports.com. 72% of you calling this match for Dignitas.
If you disagree, though, remember, you can share your pick by tweeting at LO Esports and use the hashtag either DIGWin or COL1. However, remember, this is a Complexity game, so pace yourself. You might have 80 minutes to fill and keep updating.
That's right. Keep that poll open. You will keep voting as well. The Tristana's out for Robert X. Lee. The Siege protection is there from Ziggs, and they can give as much as they can get, so I'm going to see if Probably can get himself into a situation where he can have fun in that mid lane. They got a lot of wheelhouse champions that they picked up. Not a lot that have trickled down where they would feel uncomfortable. So Complexity could, again, be the kryptonite for Dig.
Yeah, the thing I need to focus on is that Aurelia pick that they locked in last second. It's been used a couple times already as this counter pick to Nidalee and hasn't worked out at all. In both scenarios, Aurelia got crushed. So if Dignitas stay with their old strategy and they do focus that top lane and get Zion ahead early, it could turn into the same situation. Split pushing Zion Spartan, getting out of control. Evelynn, though, is always great to have on your team. So Westrice, he does have a little bit of backing if he plays more like his old self and very aggressive and starts bluffing a lot, going for trades in lane. Zion will have to always have that in the back of his mind. Kez could be sitting right behind Westrice.
Very early pink ward control used by Crumbs. We'll see where they decide to put this one down. Should be right behind the red buff. If they do, it doesn't look like that Complexity is going to get inside this jungle too easily without being seen. They actually haven't put any breadcrumb wards at their red, so they're going full bore on this.
Just outside
oh my God!
range.
Oh no! Too bad, so sad.
So that's another thing. You always have to be aware when you're against an Evelynn. They can use Evelynn as a scout for the early game. Danger, danger right there. Great hook, though, from Bubba Dub. It was pretty easy because Kiwi Kid's standing still, but just outside of range. He goes for the max range hook. Gets it just from the Fog of War, using his mobile ward, Evelynn, to scout for him.
So the Fairy Charm comes out for Probably. He goes for the mana regen on that and a pink ward.
They're looking for another pick here for Complexity.
Oh.
But Robert kind of gives it away here, charging the bush.
They got a good ward as well. It'll tell them if they scoop up towards red. But Complexity has laid some very deep wards to start this one off.
And Pralia has purchased a pink ward with his first back there on the first blood money.
Right.
So actually, even with the increased money that you get for first blood now, he still opts to go for the vision route. And he gets extra mana regeneration, which will definitely help him out as well, harassing down this Kassadin. That's not going to help, though. He can land those bombers.
Good wards placed in the top lane by Zion Spartan. He knows he will have Westrice, and he's going to have a level 2 advantage here. Westrice taking a bit to get there. We do see in this game that there's a bit of help given to the junglers. And this level 2 may be in favor of Robert X lead to Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid. Lanes begin with a 500 gold lead and a kill in favor of Complexity.
Yeah, plus with that lane ward up there from Dig, they were checking just in case Complexity were thinking about doing a lane swap because of that trend where Aurelia gets destroyed by Nidalee. We'll see, though. There's a reason that people have been picking it against her. Just haven't been able to execute. You know, if she does get ahead, Aurelia is one of the best at snowballing against ranged champions that are squishier. Since Aurelia has that reliable gap closer, if she does get a lead, you know, building offensively, as pretty much all Aurelias go for the rush Trinity Force, if you can get to that point, and Nidalee hasn't been able to build up a sizable lead, then she can take over in the matchup.
Kiwi Kid and Cutie Pie trying to get this pushed up a bit so they can harass Robert X Lee, make it hard for him to farm under the turret. He has leveled his explosive shot, unlike Double Lift in our previous game.
Well, yeah, in the 2 versus 2.
Right.
The explosive shot is
steady.
The most important skill for Tristana, even arguably over her escape, because there's so much trading power with explosive shot, plus you are able to shove the lane. He's keeping it just in front of his turret too, by the way. But here it is.
So if we remember this last time, Kobe, Zion and Crumbs were a menace in the top lane. Continuously healing, Crumbs would consume, and that split push could not be stopped when they played this composition last time.
Yeah, as we said, just back to the same old strategy. Crumbs camping out in Zion's lane, and they have the range advantage.
Yeah.
See if Complexity decide to force this fight, though. Kez right behind Westrice.
Oh!
Can't sneak quite in there.
My God, he made it! Where's the stun? Doesn't have the surge? Yes, he does. He was just waiting for that first leap. The passive movement speed helping just ever so slightly out of the brush.
Pretty big chunk there.
Good bubble. Great bubble, but the turnaround from the Flay denied Cutie Pie's damage during the bubble. What a hit! The heal comes out. He jumps and goes down mid-flight. Houston, we have a problem. 80 carries down.
Both AD carries do go down, but the experience for the kill goes to Robert here.
Oh, Crumbs being a menace. Oh, nicely satchel charged. Probably getting what he wants. A few more damage attacks. And he's back to being safe in lane. Low in mana, though. He won't be here for long. Let's see this again.
Yeah, let's take a look at the beginning of this fight.
The Flay is so good here.
All right. Bubble Land to start it off? Yeah, Bubble Land to start off. Time it with the zap, but Bubba gets that nice play.
Yeah.
And then combo.
Ooh. Aggression all over.
Look at the CS, though. The nerfs to Kassadin didn't hurt him that much. If it wasn't for that gank, he would have got a couple more CS as well. Pretty much dead even, so looks like those changes not that big of a deal.
Well, probably he's going to stay. It looks like he's going to allow Shifter to back on this one. Shifter, remember, he has teleport. We haven't seen 6 yet from Kassadin. He's very, very close, so there may be a play to be had there. Double teleport coming in as well from Zion, so a lot of chaos can be created in an instant here by Dignitas. The 2 kills, however, what Complexity was looking for. It's what we've been saying throughout the weeks. What they need is that early game lead, and with having it, let's see how they start to push it. It's already a 10 and 20 CS lead from mid and bottom lane.
Yeah, and as we said, focused on that bottom lane for Complexity. Robert, strong start for him. He's going to have that experience edge on Cutie Pie. See if they continue the aggression down bottom, though, because Crumbs has not gone back to that strategy with Zion quite yet.
That's true.
And he didn't get Zion that lead by visiting up there, so looks like he's headed up there to finish his business, though, at the moment, clearing out that pink ward.
Taking some time. So without seeing too much jungler presence in those wards, Dignitas should be able to tell that Kez is on the other side of the map, at least at this point, with having all that time to take out Pink. Dignitas, with a bit of a knowledge buff here, aren't really able to use it just yet. They do have an upper hand, but they haven't bought yet. Brawley still with a bit on him. Actually, he did go back to buy finally. So waiting for this dragon then. Just a little bit of a hesitation.
Yeah, both top laners going to be able to save their teleports here. Both very healthy. And Westrice has done a good job in this matchup. Staying even here. We'll see if this is the game where the Aurelia counterpick shines.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the guy to do it.
Double Dorns on both sides. They're trying to match each other's wits and damage so far. The sustain hasn't helped too much in that bottom lane. Pretty much just even on both sides. Looking at Summoner Flashes both up for Complexity, and only that for Cutie Pie. See if Kez decides to go bottom lane here with Complexity after this. The blue buff being given over could really mean blue or dragon.
Well, the thing is, it's very dangerous for Kez to ever go bottom because Dig have 2 teleports.
That's true.
And the big thing for Dig is, if Dig are going to win this game, it's going to be a really good Kassadin teleport that gets Kassadin snowballing. So they have to be careful. If they go bottom like this, they can't overcommit.
Ooh, he had him marked. Looks like he's going to try to take a bite out of Crime on this one. Level 6 is going down. It's going to be an all-out battle going toe-to-toe. 300 HP on both sides. Bottom lane as well. Dignitas Kiwi Kid goes down. The top fight is still going back and forth. Zion running away bleeding. Westrice also in the same condition. There's a level up from Westrice, a bit of HP there. Zion Spartan probably hitting the same soon.
Comes on a ward.
Got the Primal Surge for HP. Westrice, oh my gosh, he's going to get frosted up here. Can he take that many turret shots? Zion Spartan misses the spear with the slow. How unfortunate. Stunned up under the turret. Crumbs still tanking. A good communication on how they executed, but a failure on getting that HP down on Westrice.
Great escape by Westrice, but they are probably going to lose the turret because the blood boil up top, they will take it very quickly with that minion wave. So good job by Complexity. As soon as that jungler is up top, they take the dragon. It's already been a trade for Complexity. Even though they know they're going to lose this turret, they've made the answer. Dragon Gold going to go over to Complexity. And Minion Wave Gold going to go over to Brawley. That zigs.
There's a golf clap. Definitely a golf clap on that one. Well played. 13-5 to 11-7. Some cheeky plays keeps Complexity very much ahead.
And with all of that action on top, action on bottom, Shifter did not use his teleport because they were giving him blue at that time. So maybe that was fortunate for Complexity because Shifter was not really free, I guess, to go join either of those fights. Did not use his teleport to change the tide of battle. More focused on grabbing that blue at the time, I think. It doesn't look like he's even wearing it. He was up sitting there by the blue buff. And it looks like Crumbs even probably got it.
Good pink ward clear. Kez keeping himself safe with a few more wards of his own. And Krems is definitely wearing that buff. Yeah, it's been a quick run from lane or red buff that took it out for him in the last few moments. Safe play from Bubba Dub and Robert X. Lee. 10 minutes into the game, it's 3-1, and Complexity having a lead again. 2,000 gold on Dignitas. Crumbs wants this half of the map now for Vision.
It seems like the same story for every Complexity game, though. They almost always get this early lead. Recently, in the last few games, they've gotten this nice start to the game. And then mid-game, they just kind of lose
they peter out.
way. They don't really have a plan for the mid-game. See if it happens this time, too. They kind of just taper off and they start wandering around. See if they can actually get something in motion this time around. Make use of this gold lead because they have all the tools. They've got a Ziggs for wave clearing. They've got a very strong start for Robert X. Lee in the bottom lane, which is just what they want.
Will they be able to activate anything, though? Completely even. CS to CS in that bottom lane. Nicely done by Brawley, forcing Shifter into that wave, stopping him from ever teleporting into making plays. It's just for a back right now, but that peace of mind.
Yeah, I mean, the teleport is on Shifter, but Brawley has had more global presence than Shifter has, with just his ultimate clearing out side lane waves. So Brawley so far getting the better of this matchup.
Definitely, and that 30 CS lead's not going to hurt either. Quick builds coming in. Robert actually decides to go for a bit of damage on that pickaxe as he throws in a bit of what could be a static shiv to start off. and he's matching Cutie Pie's damage. So those early kills did make a difference. Just out of range. I don't know if Crumbs is even going to try to work off of this one, but they do know overall. Now Kez is in the bottom lane, so he can counter what's about to happen.
What is Shifter doing here? He's wandering up towards Westrise. It looks like they do want to...
He's going to go top, double tap, and then teleport down.
Double teleport. They could if they get a kill. It looks like they want to use this turret sort of as bait for Westrise.
Yeah.
But man, the no boots Kassadin roam, and he doesn't get anything out of it. Such a slow trek up to that top lane. Doesn't cost them any minions here though. Cannon minion did tank all of the turret. Okay, he lost one melee and then also that melee there. So it was 2 melees, one before he even got there.
It's turning against him fast. 3,000 gold lead. There we go. Zion Spartan's gonna have some free farm. Shifter comes back. He's got the blasting wand, and that's a little bit of the in-your-face he wanted to start hitting probably up with low mana.
Yeah, I guess we do see some of the other changes in action there though, because
slow.
He doesn't have his boots, and the slow was reduced to just 1 second. So
yeah,
not able to continue the chase there after he jumps in.
Primal surges. Nidalee going to be able to heal up quite fast and get that attack speed onto the turret. So global gold going down. 17,000 as they close that gap a bit, and some local gold for Zion Spartan to try and get that Triforce built. Another game with 2 Triforce members to come in during that fight time. You can see a big explosion from them around 15-20 minutes as they get those items completed. Bottom turret getting taken down as Complexity wants to even up the map. Ooh. Great bubble.
Still get it? Still gets it,
Just
even though the bubble hits.
So we got a minute on Dragon Kobe. Got some good finished up items here. Doesn't look like Cutie Pie is going to have the Infinity Edge. But we are still going to get, should be a pretty good fight out of this, especially with the teleports. This 1v1 is great.
Yeah, action packed up here. And the Aurelia into Nidalee pick is working out this time. As we said, Westrise has matured over this split.
Yeah.
Maybe most improved player, actually, in the North American LCS. We'll see, though. A little early. A little early to declare that.
Giving yourself an out on that one?
Just in case he goes full Westrise.
Never go full Westrise. Probably, he's safe. He's got blue buff. He'll be able to get some bombs down, at least lay the minefield if he's even really pressured there. He has a nice 40 CS lead in the mid lane.
And just look at Robert. Man. Every time, Robert on this Tristana, he's so comfortable. He makes these aggressive plays all game long. As soon as he gets his static shiv, he is in your face. He roams around the map. They swing mid to try and shove that turret. As soon as they get their bottom turret down, he's all over. They're clearing out all the vision, taking down pink ward number 2. Dragon is prepped for. There's a blue buff on Ziggs. He can zone out on the ramps over to Dragon. There's no vision. Really strong control here of the early game, once again, from Complexity.
Oh, the tidal wave goes through, and they are just stuck on the absolute 0, thrown up against the wall. Crumbs gets crushed down, and it looks like Westrise gets the teleport in. Complexity regains composure on this. Good sight from the Zap.
Zion does not have his teleport, by the way, so Zion's got to walk all the way down here. Complexity can't dilly-dally. If they wait around too long, Zion will join, and Zion is full life.
Shifter can definitely make an impact along with Zion. That's the Dragon going over to Kez, and they are trying to exit stage right very fast on this. Complexity gets out 2 of 2 Dragons. Dig starts to push.
It's not over yet, though. What is going to be the response from Dig? Because they took a lot of damage, Complexity, on that Dragon. So Dig can still answer here.
But that's the thing. They have all of these tools to shut those answers down. Back to bottom lane. Mid lane's covered. What plays by Complexity to squeeze that out again?
That's that Ziggs and Tristana with Shiv wave clear that we talked about in Champ Select. Complexity are definitely playing to their champion strengths here. Very, very well played here so far. Question is, still though, the mid game. Will they be able to execute?
Oh, that's a good play by Westrise. You can still see the icon on the mini-map, and that means that buff is still alive in some aspect. Unfortunately, just a small
lizard. In the form of a tiny lizard.
Yep. Good trade. Blue buffs onto both mid laners, so he's going to be more than happy to keep that going. Probably's got ult down and both summoners. Very big power play here for Shifter to get his harass on and possibly get something of a play here with the rest of the team. Crumbs is going to try for bottom, so maybe Shifter's going to hold off for now.
See if Westrise can answer. This turret is very low, and Kez is in position for the dive. See if Zion shows his face up there.
Bubdub is pinging this out. He's saying, this is not good. There's way too much dark on the map. We don't see. He's able to quickly deter Crumbs off of that. The teleport comes in. Again, probably throws it all the way over the entire team, clearing out the turret so it can't be taken down. They still have that lane pressure.
Yeah, 100% the right call there from Prawley. He's all about the wave control, clearing off minion waves left and right with that Ziggs ultimate. Yep. That's why I've been so surprised that Xerath is the super popular pick for North America, even when Ziggs is up. Probably definitely showcasing the strengths. Woo. Here. Trading bottom for mid pressure. See if it pays out here for Complexity. They definitely have position on mid, and Cassidy has nothing to say about it.
Great wards. Great wards for Complexity. They have pinks on their side, and they're slowly moving up vision wards in a nice line across. It's allowed them to safely take that mid. They did lose bottom, but at 4-1, they have a 4,000 gold lead just under 20 minutes into the game.
See how Complexity can set up that mid game, because they need the vision line. They've had a problem where teams will just make moves in the mid game and take objectives while Complexity don't have time to react. So the way they get around that would be if they can get more deep wards down, so they can see the plays of their enemies a few seconds earlier. Give them time to react. Plus, they need to be timing much better. They should have the exact dragon timer, and they should be able to prep the side lane push with their aggression.
Something Dignitas is set up for. We saw this game previously with the new Italy composition go much cleaner. We said there was 0 kills against Dignitas in that game, and they were able to pretty much just dodge out any attacks and take down every structure they needed at the correct time. Blue transferred over to Prawley. Will Complexity be able to pretty much put a thorn in the side of Dignitas once again here? They're looking to make a pick.
Yeah, let's see here, because they previously cleared out this pink ward. Bubadub's baiting right now. The other thing that's really the biggest point on the map right now is the blue buff of Dignitas. Complexity would love to control that as well.
And they're gonna. Let's go straight for it.
Looks like they do, because we have hit that point in the Aurelia versus Nidalee matchup where Nidalee wasn't able to punish Aurelia early. So Zion always has to be worried about that reliable gap closer, has to give space to Westrise every time he goes aggressive.
A finished up Triforce to the pieces of a Triforce aren't the fight you want. That's a gun to a knife fight. Or a knife to a gun fight. Either way, you don't want to fight it.
Westrise is the one with the gun.
They get out, nicely played, safety on the Thresh Express.
And they can easily swing over to the top, so it's 2 turrets for 1 here in the trade, and a kill!
Dignitas is definitely making some going for broke calls here. They're going to try to trade inhibitors on either side. The teleport going back, it's actually going to be the back, so he's not in a bad spot. Home guard's coming out, no, not even second boot, so they're going to be inhibitor turrets for inhibitor
Westrise does have his teleport, though, so they send Westrise back. If he can chase these 2 members off the turret, then he can teleport down and get the extra... Oh, he's going to go for the kill.
He's on to Cutie Pie. That's the absolute 0. Cutie's in range. A few more attacks. Westrise getting hit back. The zap and the slow hit. Bobbing up with the flash. He's going to be able to lock down Cutie Pie. No! He grabs Crumbs as Cutie Pie gets excited and sidesteps the play. Wait a minute. They didn't even get the inhibitor turret on the other side, did they?
Bit of miscommunication, I think, as Westrise and Bubadub don't charge in at the same time. If the flash play was there earlier when Westrise committed, let's take a look at this. Box in the back, Bubadub's running up, and Bubadub doesn't want to walk through the absolute 0, but he still gets slowed by the edge of it. So that's why he was so far back. Crumbs is zoning there with the absolute 0 and popping it just to tag and get the slow down onto Bubadub. Delayed the flash play long enough so that Cutie Pie was able to kite Westrise.
This is bad now. There's blood in the water for Dignitas, and they want more. They feel like they have the upper hand, and they may have just put Complexity on of second-guessing type of form. They are not coming towards this dragon.
Well, we highlighted that bottom lane for Dig, and there was a big outplay there by Cutie-Pie and Crumbs. So it definitely got them a little bit of leverage to get back in this game. However, they're still facing Ziggs Trist, and they're still facing an early game lead from Complexity. Dragon getting collapsed on. Kez in perfect position for flanking.
He gets the whole Agony's Embrace. That's the Mega Inferno Bomb, and they ride the wave, but they're going to dive right under it and try to get through. A good slow for the disengage, but Dignitas staring Complexity down from the other side, taking some Polaroids here. Soon to get an engage maybe, but it looks like they're going to actually have to give up Dragon purely on positioning.
Yeah, and
Great
purely
attack.
on that
Great
Ziggs
attack.
mine zone control right there.
Yeah.
It just sets up the entire river. You can't walk through any space of the river without taking some form of damage from Prawley.
So many AoE ultimates to just hit at the same time.
That flank was beautiful. Kez into Prawley ultimate right there. Great combo to chunk pretty much the whole team down to half life.
Yeah. Kez, he's been waiting for it. We've seen a lot of Eves patiently waiting for that attack, and once they get it, it completely goes in your favor, and you know why they waited so patiently to get it. Good things come to those who wait. 5K gold lead here, 5-4 in turrets. Unfortunately for Complexity, one of those 4 turrets was their bottom inhibitor. If Baron goes down at any time here within the next 5 or so minutes, it's going to be a rush for Dignitas in their favor down to the bottom lane. Still, easier said than done. They're going to have to make that happen, and Dignitas knows that...
What minion wave?
Dignitas knows that Baron in the past has been good and bad for them.
Yeah, you can see how this shove is not going to work in mid. Even though they had 3 people mid, Prawley alone can defend it. And the split push battle between Westrice and Zion Spartan just keeps getting more and more interesting because of the fact that Westrice needs extra vision. He would like to pressure Zion more, but he needs more vision down there to be able to do it. And Zion can almost never go that aggressive on Westrice because of the invisibility of Evelynn. He always has to be worried about the positioning of the Complexity jungler, and always has to be second-guessing himself. Red buff would be a huge upper hand in that duel, though, in the split-pushing duel.
Looks like they do take to it. Robert Exley is actually going to leave Shifter alone in that top lane. Knows he has to be with the team. Go to where they will be teleporting. Right now, they do have that one for Nidalee at least locked down. Westrice backing, so he won't be able to lock it down. Oh, man. Oh, man! Oh, my gosh! Whew. Whew.
The heal, get him out of that execute range for Jinx Rocket. You want to pop it before the rocket. Does divide. Reduce damage.
That was going to be pretty big. It does not look like they can stop this now, Kobe. Dignitas has put themselves in somewhat of that 1-3-1. Getting a little squishy here on the top side. It's kind of squeezing into a 4-1, but they had it.
Yeah, let's see what a couple crits can do for you. Cutie Pie getting the first shots fired there on Robert gives a huge advantage. When all the AD carries are going these crit builds here, Static Shiv, Infinity Edge, if you open up your AD carry duel and you hit the other guy with a crit and a Static Shiv crit, they have to back off. They have to respect the RNG.
Got to do it.
Because you can't count on your crit coming. You have to like, oh yeah, you got yours, mine's coming too, probably, right?
Wait, let me flip the coin. Heads or tails?
Maybe?
Well, it's not going to matter soon once they get enough damage to just make every shot hit like a crit. And it's going to be quite soon. 2 items for both AD carries. We have big core items coming in for the mids and the Triforces for the top laners. So a bit of spike here that they've been using for some time. This next fight will definitely tell how it's going to go a little more and in favor of who.
Yeah, Complexity is going to force the issue here. They are facing a double teleport team, so the time definitely is against them. They have to actually make a move to force one of the teleports back. Otherwise, the double lanes of split push, 1-3-1, gets the advantage for Dig here, and Shifter's almost on the turret. Looks like Complexity are going to do a weird rotation down bottom, but there's plenty of wards here for Dig. They have good defensive wards, so Zion should be okay.
That's not terrible damage.
What an outplay from Dig here. Using the double teleport to gain position all over the map. They get a turret for their troubles. Great rotation from Dig.
Playing around Complexity now, making sure they don't have any ways to flank this. Shifter still has eyes on Westrice. They're making that call. Beautiful job to not tunnel in on a attack they thought they had. That was a good rotation from Complexity to kind of clean up what they were losing, but that's mending what has been going wrong for them so far. It has not been an easy past 6 minutes. Complexity has been losing quite a bit in their gold lead.
This picture,
5,000, but not that much.
This picture looks familiar. 26 minutes in, Complexity, even though they have the gold lead, they're getting outplayed with the movements across the map, giving back gold to Dig.
This is kind of where they leave themselves. The early kind of lane win champions, something that they can have, a good harass from a Tristana, but there's no engage now. They're only clearing waves. They're trying to find where Kez can get in for an engage, and they're not getting anything secretive because Dig has all the vision they need.
It is becoming very difficult for them to find that flank with Kez. And they really do need Westerice to be there, because Westerice is the one who can actually force the issue and make the fight happen when he dives in. If he's not there, it all depends on Bubba landing that hook, or Robert just going crazy and rocket jumping in. If they don't have that, then it's so hard for Complexity to actually force their fight. And we're seeing their troubles here because Westerice is needed as the split push threat. He can't be in 2 places at once. Both the engage for the team as well as the split push to hold off the Dig teleport. Here's the collapse, though. They finally find a flank, and Bubba goes.
This needs to happen. The teleport coming in just above and below. That's going to be Westerice. We also have Zion Spartan coming in as well. Good shots onto Crumbs, the focus of all 5.
They need to force either an inhibitor or a Baron right now. They can run down mid and force an inhibitor because they're getting forced on both sides here by Dig. Dig are at least getting an inhibitor in answer for this Baron.
Very interesting.
Oh, Zion might have to back off due to Westerice.
Be the right call. They have good damage. It's going to be the takedown there. Teleport coming in is going to help Westerice.
He turns around.
Help Zion for Westerice. And they're going to be able to go ahead and grab this one. So they do lose the inhib, but they have lanes pushed for top and mid to retaliate on. Very interesting play. Complexity gets a fight they want. I was about to question how they weren't taking these fights. Probably 2,000 gold up on Shifter. They need to pressure a bit of that advantage here. With Baron now, they're going to be able to clean up a bit of the mess in base. See what they can push.
You have to say it's well played by Dig to get these trades while they're sitting in this gold deficit. Dig are playing it well at this point with what they're working with. Both of them can jump over. They're fine. So Dig, yes, they gave up kills. They're like, oh my god, we just got flanked. We got outplayed. Complexity just caught us.
What do we
However, what can we do in this?
Yeah.
Great reaction from Dig. They get an inhibitor in trade for a Baron, which is a pretty even trade in itself, but then also swinging down to Dragon means they get the global gold to make up for it as well, and it's a pretty even draw there again for Dig. So even though they get caught out, they make the best of the bad situation, and they only have to burn one of their teleports to make that inhibitor trade answer.
Yeah. See if they can now answer with an inhibitor of their own. Got a bit to work these super mini waves in the bottom. They'll leave that up to Westerice. But now with Baron down, hopefully they can pressure the map a little bit more.
Yeah, the question is, what can Complexity do in the aftermath? Because they're wearing that Baron buff, and the teleports are down now. This is their window. This is where Complexity should be going for the strong offensive move. However, they're just wandering around the map once again. Mid-game here. Looks like they want to group up. Robert just went back to buy. That might have been what they were waiting for.
You got a bloodthirster.
Push. Now they definitely need to make the call and make it for a hard play. It looks like they are going to do it.
They are hitting a lot of pings. They're on the win for summoners being active. That's for damn sure. Robert actually very safe with Cutie Pie having no summoners, trying to stack and keep that Bloodthirster stacked, as that is his 3rd item buy. We see a lot of Triss doing that, being targeted. After that jump away, you still have a lot of gap closer coming from Shifter.
This looks like a bluff here from Dig because their teleport on Nidalee is down for a little bit longer, but Complexity have 2 teleports to keep track of, and they may not have correctly timed that Nidalee teleport. Westerice going back to base already. Looks like he's going to answer.
Ooh, they do bite on it.
They lose another turret, though. Slowly, Dignitas, they're clawing their way back into this game. You have to give them props.
That was with Baron. No pressure to a turret with Complexity having Baron, and Zion Spartan was able to make it coast to coast for a turret. Way too lax of play here. Now, Baroned up Aurelia, chasing down Zion. Spartan getting passive movement speed out of the brush, gets nothing out of it, and he can still teleport or stay and harass. Dignitas is really getting the chess pieces in order to throw it back right towards Complexity's base again.
Interesting call here, because now it's Westerice left stranded up in the top lane with no teleport, and a 4-member squad of Complexity who are in danger of being engaged upon 5 versus 4. If Zion headed down here, then it could be a pretty easy chase for Dig. Does Shifter have Azanias? Yes, Shifter has Azanias.
Oh, yeah.
They do have the ability to force.
It's a few fights now, actually.
Gets in there. And it looks like Zion's slowly working his way around the jungle here. Maybe they'll go for it.
So this is what the situation, we always say this is one of the harder ones to grab, but this is actually what it looks like when you may be up in gold, but you're behind in the fight. This isn't still one of the easiest turrets to take. They're pushing them off them with ease, with ease.
Now that Westerice is not on the map, it would definitely deter Dig from going for that engage, by the way.
Right.
So when they see him, then they had a small window there where they might have been able to force it if they had correct timing on the teleport of Westerice. But now that Westerice went into the jungle and he was getting that red buff, there's no way that Dig would want to force that being down this far in gold and Baron buff, which has finally worn off.
We're seeing the effect of static shiv and bouncing bombs come into play now. Robert X. Lee just in range. Oh boy. This is going to be close. They get Kiwi Kid very, very close to the fight. Tidal Wave goes out. A lot of AoE back towards Dignitas as they kite the fight, staying safe and protecting the
Great
turret.
disengage from Complexity. They buy time for Westerice to come on down, and they collapse. This should be another turret for them. Great AoE chunking done by the Complexity squad.
Just a few more shots. Perseverance pays off for Complexity in the bottom lane. Ooh, Bumpadub squeaking out of that one. Looks like with an 8,000 gold lead, Westerice is trying to wreak havoc in the mid lane. Not going to be an easy task past this team.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is Prolly's out of mana, and he cannot afford to be out of mana when the Baron spawns. So Complexity definitely want to buy time for a Prolly recall so he can at least go get some mana back. Dragon will be the first item on the list, though, before Baron even comes up. See if Complexity control it, because they did leave behind that trail of wards in the red side jungle. Good preparation and forethought, which we are looking for from Complexity.
Yeah.
Leaving behind that vision so that they can set up and take that dragon. 45 seconds, though. Please no. Whose dream is that?
80-minute nightmare.
I mean, they definitely have the ability to do it. They've got Ziggs and Trist with, so Complexity could easily make that call. However, they've got such a good lead to work with. They don't have to make that call.
No, but consistency tells us they do. 6-6 here at turrets. A lot of sweeping going on, but no forward movement has yet happened. See another 1v1 between these two. It's going to be these guys teleports up with the Baron in 30, and whatever the remains of this dragon are probably going to be a Baron.
There's that well-prepped dragon, full vision on the red side jungle. Westerice, though, 2 versus 1. He's going to have to call people off dragon to help.
They did not get dragon just yet. They want to get these kills. They think these kills can go straight towards the base. 50 seconds on the timers. Can they close in the gap? Shifter makes it out alive. Westerice can't get himself in range. And what is going to happen? Dig's going down mid.
This is a blood-boiled jinx. This tower is going down in seconds when they start hitting it. There we go.
Takes a moment to get there. Tiny feet, small walker. Good shots. Takes it down. Cutie Pie envisioning everything as turrets as he drops them down to the ground, and so be it for the mid one as well. 7-6 as they break down a bit more vision on the map for Complexity, gain themselves a bit more gold. Still 7,000 deficit is what they're working with, but somehow persevering, and they're on the up and up here.
They have done a good job of answering. Whenever Complexity make a move, they punish them. 1 kill for Complexity for a tower for Dignitas. So once again, making the best of their bad situation. Complexity, what they need to do is start committing less resources to the plays that they go for. One person to take Dragon, that's all it takes for them. They don't need to send a whole team down there. So they just use Robert to get it this time. If they don't commit so many resources to one side of the map, then they can stop this trading from Dig. They can stop Dig continuing to answer and continue to play this guerrilla warfare tactic and grab things on the other side of the map.
It's crazy this always happens between these two teams. Like, the consistency is just unreal. Always pushing each other to the brink of should we not. Seeing a game previously where they took everything like it was theirs from the beginning, but now not. It's very different when Dig and Complexity get together, but it's always enjoyable to watch, nonetheless. Right now, 3 to 8, very low kill day all across the board. This time, we're on to Baron.
Really quickly here. Complexity, they really need to draw out one of these teleports to even up the ground, because Dignitas have been utilizing that global transportation advantage that they have. The extra mode.
Man.
Looks like they can't make the choice, though. They have to send Ziggs back for the wave clear. Once again, Dignitas get the positional advantage. Will they get collapsed on, though? Crumb seems like he's out of
All right, Kez, nice hold on the Agony's Embrace. Didn't have too much of a grouping there to really use his ultimate, but they are in
going down
mode. They need to get in the right spot. Shifter's in the base. He's going to be rolling around without chase going on, actually. Looks like they could get Zion Spartan here. A lot's being used just for this engage. We're going to have Shifter on the other side. Complexity's going to have to run a full map to do anything off of this. So they
kill, but Dig get an inhibitor.
Right.
Still, they get something large out of this. And it's so hard for Complexity to send their whole team to Baron, because then Dignitas could pressure on Nexus turrets. If Dignitas keep waiting in the shadows over here, they can make that shove for Nexus turrets.
It's going to be for Nexus.
Complexity again, a little bit of overcommitment.
Oh my gosh.
5 people over Baron.
Gosh.
Westrise has to go back, okay. The stop, what a shot from Cutie Pie!
Very nice job. They're going to be able to get something big out of this. Right into the middle of it. Shifter throws down the Zanyas. This could be game. Dignitas is going huge on this one. What a mistake play for Complexity as they think it's the right call. They could be back in base. 8 seconds to blue pill. They're going to be back. That's a Nexus turret. We have Prowley for wave clear. They're going to be pushing them off. Dignitas may have bitten off a bit more than they can chew. 45 to 50 seconds on these death timers. Where's Complexity going with this?
Now they're going to run right down the middle, end the game. If they were more trepid, they would just take Baron, but the call to go down mid and get an inhibitor would be huge for them. They keep getting split on. They need to get control of one inhibitor. Looks like they are just heading down mid, so that will be the inhibitor, not... All right, Westrise, we saw him go down. I think the more interesting thing is that push down mid.
They should be able to get it. Watching both in the pit here. It looks like, wow,
10 seconds
I don't know, 10 seconds around, they're going to be taking big damage on this, actually dodging out the spear. They get one of what they want. Not a lot of home guards on the inventory. Actually, no home guards, so they're looking at safety. They're getting out. What a game we have going on. Reaching 40 minutes now with the Nexus being hit up. One turret healing from almost dead.
Are they going to rush this Baron as well? That would be a little
There's so many
bit greedy.
They have teleports to get into the base. If they start this...
teleports are up. They could go for an end here. Ooh, Westrise is back, though.
Westrise is back. Very good play by having him get into the base. This could get tight very quick.
All right.
Baron's going down, but does Baron give them too much aggression? Once they're in the base, they could get teleported right back in as long as that inhibitor's down.
I think now Complexity have pretty much cleaned up everything from that long 5-6 minute exchange there. And with Dignitas making that play for the Nexus, they lost a lot because it turned out against them. And Complexity now have a very strong handle on this game. There's nothing to really draw them out that Dignitas can use to go for another one of those sneaky shoves. So Complexity have a pretty clear plan now. As long as they just shove out this bottom lane all the way into the inhibitor turrets, they should be good. They've got the Baron to work with. There's nothing for Dig to draw them over there with.
We say that.
Much easier plan now for Complexity.
But it's up to them
to finish this one out. it is up to them. And
See
you
if
know,
they
we're
can
only
put it
halfway
down.
through what the last time
Yeah,
they met was.
halfway. Take a 3-minute break, go to the bathroom, do whichever we got. We got some time to go. Remember, keep voting for who you think will win. Hashtag COL win, hashtag dig win.
The Complexity have done a good job this time around.
Yeah.
Maybe the gold glyph would be very interesting right now because this is one of the games where they've actually had control the whole game. They didn't really have that slip up.
Different style here in the form of Complexity, just all over the map. Not really concerned about the mid just yet until that inhibitor comes back up with 30 seconds on the dragon. They're in great spot to kite this back if they don't get what they want. Get a little bit more. Still not at 6 items yet, but they are looking for now an inhibitor turret on this. Cassidy coming back, Zion Spartan on the split push still. And Complexity has a great security system of wards just above them.
Look at the intense communication that they need to pull this off. When you're facing the double teleport, every time they lose sight of that split pusher, of Zion Spartan, they have to be so careful because Westrice doesn't have his cooldown up for teleport yet, and it could turn into a 5 versus 4 very quickly. You can see Westrice is chasing Zion up there. The Nidalee and the Aurelia little chase game right now is very, very interesting.
Cat and mouse. Oh, he's going to get shifted, though. It's going to be a 2v1. Can't keep it in range. Great hit on the phage, giving him a bit of movement speed there. Zion.
When that happens, they need to shove hard.
Yeah, they went back to try and help the fight. They got pulled off of it just for Westrice in the middle. A little bit of miscommunication there. You're completely right, Kobe. Damage needs to be done to the turret.
And it's gone.
Wow, Kez flashes in for the Agony's Embrace. They are going to wipe out Dignitas in their own pace. Double teleport in coming from Zion Spartan and Shifter. Can they turn it around or put up the defense that Dig needs? Inhibitor goes down. Great shots, great stuns. Crumb gets grabbed up. Shots coming in from Robert Exley. The damage is really in the focus from him. Cannot finalize a level 18 range shot. The Nexus turrets are what's getting hit up. Complexity's in a great spot with both. Whoa. They're getting big damage. What they wanted, Shifter should be able to rift walk out of this one. Last hit does not take him down. He already received the damage before the walk. Wow, Nexus turret for Nexus turret. We're almost even up in the sense of map here.
Well, I have to say, it's pretty heavy for Complexity now. 2 inhibitors down. They really can make a very clean push on the top lane now. As soon as Bubba Up respawns. Oh, actually, the middle inhibitor didn't go down, so they would want to go mid first. Woo, Dignitas don't want to let them have any moment to breathe, though.
They're not. They found 1. So with Shifter finding that, they say we might be able to find more. He does. He finds 3. But wait a minute. He gets what he wants. They hit the rock. Shifter lives with 100 HP on his belt. And they're going for Westrice. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be game just like that. Dignitas does not give up. I cannot believe Westrice just made it away. That actually might have saved them from losing the entire base.
That would have been game if Westrice went down too. Man, that pick there, Dignitas just bought themselves more time in this game. Shifter, almost a ridiculous overcommitment there, but gets out just barely. The McHales from Kiwi Kid, the heal from Kiwi Kid, everything going down to save Shifter after he comes back. And Cutie Pie, once again, Cutie Pie has been on point with every single rocket. But man, it is still an inhibitor advantage killed for Complexity.
Oh, tidal wave jump. Westrice won't be the focus. He's safe. That's one hell of an arm. 45 minutes on this one. Huge wave in the top lane. I don't think it's going to be taking the turret out, not even anytime soon. So they still have time to work with that. Dignitas regrouping. Going to set up some defense here. And it looks like Complexity, they're going to be on the giving end now.
Looks like it. They need to clear out these super minions as quickly as possible, actually. Having 2 of them stacked up there does create a very big problem for Dignitas. And the shove here from Complexity, they're wasting no time.
Red buff there onto Cutie Pie. Kez realizes it, uses W to get out safely. Good pressure here coming in from Complexity. Great shots. Robert actually at max range now. Everybody in the game, but supports level 18. It's time to see what, It's not about the items anymore. Everybody's got those items. It's about how well these guys can play their champions. These become my favorite points in the game.
It's not about the split push anymore either because everybody's out of teleports now. It's about that 5-on-5 where the Ziggs and Trist late game is ridiculously strong.
Looks like they're going to pressure that strength here with 1 minute on Baron. If this isn't the end of the game, teams are going to be going for broke at the next chance at the Worm. 81,000 to 68.8 and 8 to 9 in turrets. One of those is a Nexus turret on either side, believe it or not. And both teams are looking to get the last one down. This victory will be huge for Complexity to get so many wins off one of the top teams, and Dignitas has been the one they've been able to do it on.
Yeah, specifically Dig here. This would make them 3-1
pretty crazy
over this split against Dignitas. Huge, huge upsets over and over and over.
They have minions
the winning record
in the base. Super minions are coming onto the Nexus turrets now for Dignitas with nobody regrouping. Shifter now needs to pull off with the wave coming in so far behind. Unfortunately, Robert Exley cannot get in range for any more shots, so that timing played perfectly for Dig that they can go back and clear. Inhibitor now up in the bottom, which means middle will come up quite soon. Dig giving themselves some breathing room. It got quite tight there for a bit.
It is hard to dive through a Nunu onto this team.
You don't.
The Nunu and Nami is great disengage for Dignitas, so I actually like the call to back off for Complexity here. Go grab the Baron. Much, much easier to go get your free Baron because you know you have complete vision control than it is to go for that dive. Once they do have the Baron, they can return to the open battlefield there, the exposed inhibitors.
See what? 5 out of 6 dragons, 3 of 3 barons. As Complexity continues their barrage of attacks, even after being put into their own base and losing some turrets. Seems like they just want to get to this part of the game.
Kiwi Kid on a...
Oh, the ward for the TP!
He's prepping the double TP
they pinged it.
door.
They pinged it. So they will be aware if they try to get into the base. Very nicely done.
The thing is, even if you do that, the 5-man Complexity squad down bottom would win that base race. They would easily win that base race with 5 because Jinx can't teleport up there. And the defense for a 3-man defense of Dig would be pretty hard to pull off. So even if wow, Complexity are so scared of it, they actually sent Westrise back. Even if Complexity had stayed down here.
Westrise went to run off the fountain and he was like, oh, my sweeper's down.
Oh my. He goes back to clear out the ward.
Real danger. That's what it is.
That backdoor threat.
Ooh. Guardian Angel. Still even a scary thing on a low health Tristana. That could be a few more shots for Robert to go down. Just those few hits causes Complexity to rethink the situation. My word. We're coming up on 49.
50, baby.
Let's go. 13-6 in this one. Still a 14,000 gold lead for Complexity. Last we started this bumper with how can another team 11,000, more than 10,000 gold down win? So it's got to be Dignitas if history repeats.
It's getting to that point where I don't even care about gold anymore. It's real close to that point.
That's a lie.
Another 10 minutes and I will not.
4,400 gold. Go spend some money, Robert. Good lord.
Oh, he's full items, isn't he? It's pretty sure he's 6 items here.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
Well, time to sell static for a Phantom Dancer or your boots for a Phantom Dancer.
Maybe,
depending on how highly he prioritizes the home guard. Interesting choice there, actually, which one he would want to go for, because he would give up wave clear.
Oh, dear.
Static.
Oh, dear. That nice bump out by the explosive shot. They hit him. It's going to be coming back. He's still sitting in the box, though. They're trying to get onto Cutie Pot. Crumbs is very low. They are getting turned around in their own base. Zion Spartan gets locked up as his bubble comes up, and he's thrown into the fire. Complexity is going to be able to take down Dignitas. Only taking 50 minutes this time, shaving a bit off the top of the clock on that one. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Shifter comes in. This is not over just yet. A lot of damage. Shifter, he's running out of the base. Complexity needs to focus. They cannot go after him. The Nexus is now going down. Kaz is doing everything he can to take shots at the turret. Complexity has to win this one. There's no way they leave this base without the Nexus going down. 51 minutes into the game. Complexity goes 3-1 on Dignitas on the summer split.
They did make several improvements there, Complexity. I like the growth of this team, and it's coming at just the right time, right before playoffs. They're ramping up.
You could say that. What play The right moves at the right time. One wrong move against a teleport team like that and you lose so much. We saw it happen. Dignitas was taking turrets all over the map at one point in the game.
You could see how Complexity, you know, how much thought they were putting into it. They didn't want to let any chance of Dig going for a backdoor through. Send Westrice back, get a pink board to clear that sucker
It was
out.
funny because he ran off the fountain. He was like, oh, my sweeper's on cooldown. I got to go back and buy a pink.
Yeah.
So he ran back out. Oh, the plays coming out all over. Kiwi Kid trying to set up that teleport, but thwarted out by the quick eyes on the minimap.
Did he sell an item for that pink too? I think he might have even had to sell an item because that
ran in. Got what he needed.
Trinket was on cooldown.
The whole time I was thinking...
Strong play we heard in the pre-roll coming from Dignitas. If we can break Complexity's turtle, that's the way we're going to be able to get in. They broke it for a second, but there was a second layer to that shell. They could not get through, and that was the other Nexus turret.
And Complexity they had the lead the whole game this time too. The mid game was
like 10,000 gold.
A little bit of indecision, but it was not nearly to the level that we've seen previously. So they have made improvements.
Go back and look at what was the factor, if not a dragon or something that pushed them to that edge, where they started wanting to make calls again. What gave them that reassurance that their calls were going to work out right? A lot of times, the Baron that they used was kind of lackluster, and that maybe they were just reassessing what they had to do. They got the lane pushes on after losing a little bit.
And they did it really effectively working against the double teleport. It's always really hard in the late game working against that double teleport and working around all of the options, the different scenarios that can pop up when you have the Kassadin and Nidalee super mobile champions doing the split pushing.
All right, well, let's find out more. We're going to send it down to Dash, who's with the winners.
Thanks, Riv. I'm here Rift side with Kez after a 50-minute win. That's good. We're moving our way down from 80 minutes. But I want to ask you immediately about Champion Select because we saw you guys leave both Kassadin and Nidalee on the table. After the Kassadin was first pick, you didn't jump at the Nidalee, so tell me why.
Well, we were confident about... Well, we were originally planning on banning Gragas, the top laners that are currently OP, but we were confident on Westrice's play on the top lane, just play really against Nidalee, so we left the Nidalee open.
All right, and then the next thing that was kind of interesting in their composition was that they ran the double TP. As one of the shot callers, how difficult is it to play against double teleport, especially when you only have one for yourselves?
Well, it's really hard to play against double TPs because when you want to pressure side lanes, when they have TP up, like they're gonna have the number advantage. So we just have to pressure the correct lanes at the right time.
All right, so we see that a lot in Europe. When you're ahead like that, was it a bit of an issue not having as hard of engaged as you would like to? You have the Evelynn and the Thresh, but unless you get a really good pick, you're kind of struggling to choose your engages.
Well, this game is all about vision. Like when you have vision, even if you don't have engage, you can force a fight to your advantage. So that's all we did this game.
All right, now looking forward, that's a great win for you guys. You're knocking down Dignitas. You're moving towards Curse, looking at that 6th place spot. You play Curse as your first game in Super Week next week. So how important is that game in catapulting you guys into that race for that 6th place spot?
We don't want to get greedy yet. Like we're still improving as a team. So I mean, we still would like to win, but we're just gonna play the same like the very best every game.
All right, I like that. So what is it then that you guys need to work on next to improve? Because it seems like you're definitely coming together a lot more as a team. The shot calling's falling into place. We're not seeing the games go as long. You're able to close them out. So what's the next step for you guys?
Well, we need to work on the teamwork. Like this is a team game. Like individually, if you're mechanically gods, like it doesn't even matter. Like you have to play this game as a team and understand what we're doing. Like we can't do two things at the same time. Like everyone has to be on the same page.
All right, my final question for you is now that we're nearing the end of the split, is there a team that you guys feel specifically like you're developing a rivalry with more so than any other team?
Not really. I mean, personally, it used to be easy for me, but I feel like I'm just like concentrating on my own games, so I don't have any rivalries.
All right, fantastic. Well, that was a great game. It was very exciting to watch. I want to thank you for joining me here real quick, and we're going to send it back up to Riv and Kobe at the desk to close out the day.
Thanks, Dash, and let's pull up the standings to see how the board is set for our final week of the North American Spring Split. Alone in first for another day, it's LMQ.
And picking up speed in 2nd place is Cloud9 and TSM, now just 1 game off of the lead. Then in 4th, it is CLG.
And in 5th place, it's going to be Dignitas with an even 12 wins 12 losses. Then it's Curse in 6th, Complexity in 7th, and even Evil Geniuses are sitting in last. And there have been a ton of great plays this week, but a few players went above and beyond. So here now are our OP5. In the top lane, it's Balls, who remains undefeated on Rise and snapped LMQ's 7-game winning streak.
Amazing had another great week in the jungle, winning 2 games without a single death. He also remains undefeated on Elise with 8 wins on that champion.
And in the mid lane, it's going to be Bjergsen, who is looking like our spring MVP once again. He had a huge impact on Syndra, landing numerous skill shots to help TSM take control of their game against Counterlogic Gaming.
OP as AD carry, it is Sneaky. He has been a consistent impact player for Cloud9, and they once again end the week with a perfect 2-0 record.
And last but not least, it's going to be Lust Boy. You can already see the level of play has risen on Team Solomid, and he turned in 2 solid games, landing a ton of bindings and bubbles for his new team. But the player who broke away from the rest of the pack this week was Balls.
Yesterday, Balls showed that he can play the tank with his huge Mundo, going where he pleases. And then today, he went back to Rise, and he was dishing out the damage. Cloud9 arguably had the toughest schedule this week, and they looked like a team that has dominated North American League of Legends in the past.
Yeah, it seems like he's loving to get the 1v1 matchups, and everybody's liking to see more 1v1 matchups in the top lane. It's just perfect. More glory, and more awesome. More
gold is what they like.
Gold. I should have put that in there. That was really good. Something, obviously, stay tuned for is we're going to have more games coming up on the Challenger Series, something that you don't want to miss. And actually, we're ready for that. Before we hand it over to Freak and Zyrene for the North American Challenger Series, don't forget that next week we'll be ending the summer split with a bang. Starting on Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Central European Summertime, we'll be bringing you an all-new preview show.
And then the European LCS gets underway with Gambit versus the Copenhagen Wolves. After that, Rocket will battle it out with the #1 alliance, followed by the Copenhagen Wolves taking on Fnatic.
That's right, and the North American LCS returns on Friday with Curse versus Complexity. Then Cloud9 will square off against Evil Geniuses. As always, you can get the entire schedule over on LOLesports.com. Now, before we kick off our Challenger Series coverage, let's take a quick look back at a few highlights from our first 4 matches today.
Front flash.
Disengage. I'm surviving. Fizz first. Shit. Front line. Exhausting Eve. Even Corki. Shen. Okay. Finish game.
They're trying to flank. Oh, fine!
Oh, High gets it in for himself. He goes right into the fight. What an absolute zero from Meteos. Moore is tripping on his own feet to get out of this one.
The turtle sand champion with A.
A shots.
B.
Blitzcrank.
C.
Casper. Cassiopeia.
First blood comes out along with the Vuvuzela, and then we're going to get a kill on the
Double it flash. Fast fingers in, and he's still getting taken down.
Alright, let's do it, guys.
Crumbs is very low. They are getting turned around in their own base. Zion Spartan gets locked up as his bubble comes up, and he's thrown into the fire.